Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. This morning there's been an interesting development overnight when it comes to the Celtic manager's position. It's been suggested late last night that Martin O'Neill will be in talks with Desmond this week. The 73-year-old returned to the club as a little stick and plaster as Celtic look for a permanent coach, a permanent manager. Celtic have considered several names alongside the Frenchman who is managing in America, Wilfried Nancy, including the Bodo Glimt manager, and as well as Craig Bellamy, to name just a few. Even Robbie Keane's been linked. But is Martin O'Neill about to be offered another position within the club for him to remain at the club and help steady the ship going forward over the next year? With all the discontent between the fans and the board, this could be a little bit of a get out of jail card by Dermot Desmond. It could definitely be a get out of jail card for Dermot Desmond to try and just smooth things over, because he will know that putting the likes of Peter Lawwell out in front of the Celtic fans, putting Nicholson to even try and get him to speak to the fans is only going to aggravate the situation even more. The Celtic power broker will see this as a period that we need to have a little bit of harmony, knowing that we need to get it right if we want Champions League football next season. It's an interesting one. They're just jumping straight into the comments. Seeing what you have said this morning. Well, you're just saying good morning to everyone. Oh, everybody's waiting on Jota. Let's get to some Jota news, because Jota has he hasn't been in Scotland, strangely enough, over the last week or so. He was spotted. Let me just do this one. He came back in from a flight from Berlin yesterday. He has been in Berlin. Now, what he was doing in Berlin, we are unsure about. How's that just changed? I need to change the screen back. What he was doing in Berlin, we are unsure about. Why is the camera off on that one? Jeez, see, technology. We've just fucked everything off. Technical difficulties first thing in the morning. See, it's too early for this nonsense. There we go, we're back. A different picture though. How's that happened? But anyway, Jota is he flew back from Berlin. You're thinking, what is he doing in Berlin, you ask? Well, who knows? Has it been part of his rehabilitation that he was in Berlin? But he was definitely on a flight that returned from Berlin yesterday. Is it has he been over there part of his recuperation, or has he just been on holiday? He was spotted carrying a laptop under his arm. Maybe he's going to take over from Gavin Strachan. You never know. But that is the big news, that he looks healthy enough. Will he return ahead of schedule, as some have said? You never know with Jota, do you? I mean, he does seem to be walking about fine. They don't want to rush him back, Celtic, and they want him to be fully recovered before he does enter back into training. So it's an interesting one. I'm not a medical type person, so I couldn't tell you, how far away he is or not. There was talk at the weekend that he's not going to be back until March. Some people say that he's going to be back in January. We just don't know. That's the reality of it. Celtic are giving nothing away. Jota's been in Germany for something. Could have been just a holiday. But then, why would he be on holiday before the international break? And this is what was getting me thinking. It has something to do with his rehabilitation. Maybe he's been over there at some kind of specialist helping him along with his recovery from that injury that's kept him out for the best part of 3/4 of this year. And he's now returning back to Celtic. It's International Football Week. Maybe he's going to sneak into Celtic Park when nobody else is there. And there's no cameras or anything. You never know. But anyway, it's Jota. Anthony Joseph talking about the Celtic manager's position last night. Sky have also been talking about it, saying that the Columbus Crew boss Wilfried Nancy has emerged as a lead candidate for the vacancy. It's understood that the 48-year-old is amongst the short names for the replacement of Brendan Rodgers, who looks as if he might be going to Saudi. Surprise, surprise. Let's get my way out of a job so I can go to Saudi and earn 10 times more. Very un-Brendan Rodgers like, isn't it? In the last 2 years, Nancy has won the MLS Cup and League Cup as well, has been named as MLS Coach of the Year. He took Columbus Crew to the Champions League final. The Champions League final in North America. Not a bad CV. People are saying, what has he done? What has he won? For taking any club to the North American version of the Champions League final is a massive, massive achievement for any manager. So let's not downplay that one bit. He is a manager that plays a fantastic formation, an attacking formation. He is the type of manager that will not just take players. He could be one that could have a fight with the current Celtic hierarchy, as he's been known to also turn down players that were offered to him by the club. He is not a yes man by the sounds of it, and I don't think that he would come here on the pretense to be a yes man at Celtic. He's the type of man that seems to be ready to make the next move. The season is over in America. Celtic are pleased with the way that Martin O'Neill has galvanised the squad and lifted the mood at Celtic Park. Discussions between Desmond and Martin O'Neill are due to take place this week. Among the names on the Celtic radar were also, who cares about the other ones? I think it's looking as if Martin O'Neill will be asked to stay on at the club in some kind of capacity. Now, I for one have said, get Martin O'Neill back as, bring him back and make him CEO of the club. Having someone like Martin O'Neill at the club will definitely help the situation between the board and the fans. Ultimately, you want to get rid of some people that are on the board. The situation with Jota, who knows with Jota. It does look like that he's been over in Germany for some kind, we can only suggest that it's been part of his rehab. I don't think that he's been on jollies. I don't think Celtic would be too interested if Jota's just fucking doing Jota and just flying about the world, enjoying himself, seeing things. But it was a reliable source that took the video. And it was interesting that he came back from Berlin. So tell me what you think about that in the comments section. If that's the case, Nancy won't get the job. He won't suit the board, says Lorna. I think that he may be the man. Listen, when Ange Postecoglou got the job, everyone said, who is he? And he came in and he never took none of the... Well, there was different board members when he first came in, but for the first year and a half, he made sure that he got the players that he wanted. I think that Dermot will be sitting down and he'll look at what happened with... you can't tell me that there's not been a massive inquisition into what really happened. Dermot would have sat down with the power brokers at Celtic Park, got their version of events of what happened with the whole Brendan Rodgers situation over the last 10 months. Because we're going to go way back to the beginning of the year. I think we have to go way back to the winter transfer window. You have to get the board's version, and then you have to get... He sat down with Brendan Rodgers in Brendan Rodgers' house for 3 hours to get Brendan Rodgers' version. And the two didn't marry up. Hence the reason that Dermot Desmond put out a scathing message to the Celtic supporters, absolutely annihilating the man that he trusted. You've got to remember, it was when Ange left, no one else on the board got a say who was going to be the next manager. Dermot Desmond picked up the phone and phoned Rodgers straight away. There was no one else even thought about, as far as he was concerned. There was only one man that could continue what Ange Postecoglou kind of started in the revolution, and he was hoping that it was going to be Brendan Rodgers, but he didn't. Now, with that being said, there was only one man that could get Martin O'Neill to come back to the club. The fact that he's going to have talks with Martin O'Neill suggests to me that there is something in the pipeline, and that Gathboy says, how's Nancy even come on the radar? Must be plenty of managers done that over there. How did Ange Postecoglou... See, there's the negativity. I'm not even going to read any more comments this morning. I apologise if you've commented, but the negativity towards the guy, and he's not even been offered the job yet. It's the same kind of negativity that we got around Ange, and I just think that, you know, I did say that be careful what you wish for. Be careful about wanting rid of the board. Be careful about wanting rid of Brendan Rodgers because of his stylish football, because we're never going to get a manager that is a so-called elite manager at Celtic. You were never going to get one of the top names. Some Celtic fans really need a reality check on what is possible at our club. And if this guy has been there and done it in America, just like Ange had been there and done it in Asia, there was all the same negative connotations about Ange Postecoglou when he came in. I did say last night that this guy, you know, I think that the fans will adore him, just like French Eddie. Anyway, that's me done and dusted for this morning. Have a fantastic day, Celtic fans all around the world.